Hello, and welcome back to Let's Talk Chicago Bears. How is everybody today? It's Friday, so that's a good thing, right? Yes, it is a good thing. But we're here to talk about the Bears, which it has been a week from hell for the Chicago Bears. I mean, wow. And we're going into game three. Oh my God. Excuse me. I'm at the end of the COVID that I caught whew, over 3 weeks ago. No, almost a month ago now. 3 weeks, 3.5 weeks. So I do apologize if I'm still coughing a little bit. So I'll try, and I'll try not to rub my nose so much. So I'm back. Let's talk about the Bears. I know, guys, I don't even know what to say. What's going on right now? It's just so alarming, what's going on, and it's frustrating, right? So, well, let's get into it. We're going to talk about. I'm going to talk about the Kansas City game first, and then we're going to get into what happened this week. Okay, so because there's not a real lot to say because this is only game three, so the comparisons are still, you know, you know. So let's talk about it. So the Bears are playing the Chiefs on Sunday. I believe it's a 3:30 game for you guys in Illinois. It's a 1:30 game here in Vegas, Barber. The Bears and Chiefs have only played 13 times, and the first time they played was in 1973. So they've only played 13 times, and the Bears have won seven, and Kansas City, Lynn, pickled brain, sorry, and Kansas City's won six. So let's sneak one out on Sunday. What do you think, Bears, huh? Make this old lady a happy lady. I'm just saying. So let's just talk. I always talk about stats. There's not much, again, because it is game three. So the Bears are averaging. Now remember, this is an average of 179 yards passing per game. That puts them 24th in the league. Kansas City, on the other hand, has 262 passing yards average, and they're sixth. That's the biggest difference. Well, there's two differences. That's the biggest one. The rush, they're pretty much the same. The Bears are averaging 49.5. And that puts them 21st in the league. Kansas City is averaging 95.5, which puts them 19th. So we're pretty much dead even there. And in this particular spot, this is pretty freaking funny. The points scored for Kansas City and the Bears average, of course, it's only two games, is exactly the same, 18.5, and they are tied for 22nd in the league. It's kind of funny, especially since he has so many more yards than they have so many more yards passing than the Bears. But you know what? If you don't score points, but this is where the big difference is. This shows you they've got a very good defense. Points allowed, Bears have allowed 32.5. That puts them 31st in the league. Kansas City has only allowed 15 points per game, and that puts them fourth. So the biggest is passing, and then what really alarms me is points allowed, 15 points a game. Although that's right where the Bears are, so that shouldn't be too difficult to get. But so, it's they're even on points scored and rushing, but the other two, forget it. So, you know. I've always said in all my years and I'm a big football fan. You watch a show, you know that. College, NFL, you name it, I'll watch it. And it's early in the season, but I always say any team can be beaten on any given Sunday. And I am sure that Andy Reid is telling his team, the Kansas City Chiefs, do not underestimate the Chicago Bears, because at this point the Bears got nothing to lose. Kansas City has way more to lose than we do in this game, okay? I mean, it is only the third game of the season, so it's not going to make or break anybody's season, but if the Bears were to sneak one out, what it would do for the Bears and the players would be phenomenal because it would give them back that confidence that need. And I've been talking about it the last two shows and on my podcast with my buddy Dan that we do on Wednesday nights. Bears Country Podcast, The Down Low with Lynn. Yeah, I know, I know. So the Bears have got to learn how to win again. They've got to learn. They don't know. They haven't won in so long. It's been over 330 something days since they've won a game. So sneaking one out would be a huge confidence booster for them. And you know what? It can happen, people. I know you don't think so, but it can really happen. Of course, the Bears, we know what they have to do. So I'm going to talk about that for a minute, and then we're going to get to all the bullshit that happened. So, of course, the Bears is my threes. I say this every game, going into every game, my threes. People, I want to hear you saying it. If you watch my show, you know time of possession, penalties, turnovers. You got to win the time of possession. You win the time of possession, it keeps your offense on the field. It keeps their defense on the field, which is a good thing. It keeps your defense off the field and their offense off the field. So you're helping your defense, and you're keeping Mahomes off the field. So you win time of possession. It's huge, just huge. Penalties, my rule. You know I hate penalties. 5 or less. I will give you 5 or less. That'll help you. Anything over is just going to hurt. You got to keep it 5 or less. Again, I've said this so many times. Last year, they were third in the league with the least amount of penalties. Now penalties are killing them this year. They just, they start to move. They get a first down. Out comes that flag. Back they go. And when that happens to the Bears, I swear 9 out of 10 times they do not end up getting the first down. They are not a really, really good team yet. We know that. And so you can't make the errors. And then my third is turnovers. The Bears have not won that yet in 2 games. They've only got 1 or 2 turnovers. I think they only have 1. And it's just you got to have turnovers. And that's something we have not seen. We've had chances and they dropping them. Just the last few years, the turnovers have been really down. I remember the day that you turn on a Bears game and you knew you would see at least 1 to 2 turnovers per game on the Bears side on the defense. You knew it. We just don't see that anymore, and it's huge. So if you can win time of possession, penalties, and turnover, you have a damn good chance to win that game, if not win the game. So Bears got to turn this around. They have not won the threes yet. They maybe won 1 out of the 3, but forget it. So my threes, and they have to play air-free football. Air-free. You got to get your head in the game. And with everything that's happened this week, I know it's going to be tough, but they have to play air-free, smart football. And let's get this defense working together. Now, this is week 3. And I think that the D-line is going to get better each game. They looked a little better last week. They started, although they missed 91. He missed an easy sack. Easy peasy. That's all the Bears signed him for. They signed him right before the season started, and they just want sacks out of him. They gave him 10.5 for a year, million, and basically they want 10 sacks, if not more. So he's going to get $1 million per sack, basically. But he can't do that if he misses them. I mean, he had Baker Mayfield in his grasp and somehow let him go. I don't get it. I'm a 65-year-old old lady, and I swear to God I could have had Baker Mayfield if that were me. But so we need the defense to really play some good games, and the backfield of the defense has been really worrying me this season. There's so many wide open receivers on the other team, it's unbelievable, and some of the tackling that's got to improve. So the D line has to really come together this week, and they've got to get in Patrick Mahomes' face, because we know how good he is, and he doesn't hang on to the ball all day like Justin does. So we got to get in there, and we got to get in his face and disrupt that and disrupt the running game. The D-line is very important this week because they got a great running attack, and they got no, I take that, yeah. No, they're average with us. I said they were 19th, we're 21st. They don't have a great running attack. They got a solid running attack, and so I just think that no errors, air free football, we're going to win this game, okay? So that's what they need to do, bottom line, right? We all know that. And it starts with Justin Fields. Now, we're going to talk about what happened with Justin um, this week. Justin opened his mouth at the press conference on Wednesday, and by now everybody's heard about it. Um, I watched it, so I saw it. And there is on the 670, the score, David Howe said, this is what he said about Fields. And I agree with him. He says, Justin, you're not in Columbus anymore, meaning Ohio State. He said, you're in the NFL, and I understand it's tough. I understand you feel you're taking out of your comments have been taken out of context because he said that when he walked it back. But today was another day in the development and the education of a young quarterback. This is a mess of his own making. It doesn't mean that he was necessarily wrong, but you got to understand that if you call out your coaches at a press conference at Halas Hall in Chicago, in the Chicago market, you don't whisper to anybody in Chicago. It's going to be loud and it's going to be noisy, and you better own it. And if you don't, you're not going to be around very long. And you know what? I read that and I thought that was a really good statement from him, David. He's on the 670, the score. And it's true. Fields, what he said was pretty much right. We know that. The Bears aren't letting him be who he is. The Bears want him to be a pocket passer. We all know that. Because in the NFL, you're going to only win the big games. You're only going to go to the playoffs and the Super Bowl with a pocket passer. Your pocket passer can also run. That's the bonus that Fields, the Bears want. So they want him to be the pocket passer, but the bonus is he can run too. He can outrun anybody pretty much. But he's just not that. And he may become that. I don't know. But right now, I don't see him as a pocket passer. And that's really what they wanted. That's what they want. Remember, this regime did not draft Justin. Flus and Poles came on last year for the first time, and Justin was already our quarterback. So they're trying to work with him with Gatesy and to get him to be a pocket passer, but he's not comfortable in that. Last week he looked terrible. We know that. We're not going to go over that game again, but out of the 6 sacks, 4 were totally on Justin Fields because he was hanging on to the ball too long. And the one thing I will say, though, about the Bears, and I get it, why they want a pocket passer, because that's your best option to win. But if they want it, excuse me, so they knew what they had last year when they saw him running all over the field. And then in the offseason, they worked with him. And they wanted him to stay in the pocket more and run at the very last option, right? Well, then, you know what? This is on the Bears. You should have drafted more offensive linemen in the draft. High up. I'm sorry, you should have. Then you would have given Justin Fields a much better offensive line, which gives him more confidence, more time. It helps your running backs. Offensive linemen are so important in the NFL. They're very hard to get a complete group these days because teams don't stick together anymore. You're jumping after a 4-year contract, you're gone, like the old days, back in the 80s. And I hate to compare that, but we had one of the best offensive lines there ever was. And they stayed together mostly their whole career. And that's something you don't see anymore, and that's number one problem. But the Bears, they should have gotten more offensive linemen for Fields. If you want him to stand back in that pocket, then give him the damn time to do so. And Fields, what he said again was kind of right. But my opinion is Fields is not there yet. He's not a pocket passer yet. And with the right coaching, maybe he can be, but I'm just not sure that this regime can teach him or even want to. Okay? So we're going to have to see what happens there. But the bottom line is the Bears have to decide what they want. Do you want Justin to be Justin? Or you want him to be what you want him to be and not produce and not feel comfortable. They have to make up their decision, and they have this year to do it. This is the year to do it. I've said it going into the season. This is a make or break year for Justin. His contract's up in 2024, his rookie contract. So if the Bears cannot or do not see what they like in him, and they don't um, get the results, wins with him, they're going to move on after this year, people. It's just going to happen. Whether it's our backup, which we're going to talk about in a little bit, what happened with all that this week, Bajet, who everybody's like, he's starting to look good, and I'm going to bring that up in a minute, but or they're going to draft again because they got 2 first-round draft picks, but I really want to win this year. I want to win. I know we're not going to, win the Super Bowl. We're not going to win the whole thing, but it sure would be nice to at least be at 500, wouldn't it? Because, we're going on game 3, and we've seen no improvement from last year. As a matter of fact, I think the defense is worse this year, because of the backfield. It's gotten worse for some reason. I just don't like what I'm seeing. And, I've seen improvement, like I said, on the defensive line, but and then the offensive line. Nate Davis is back, and I'm very sorry to hear you had a loss. A family member passed away, so God be with you. Nate Davis is back, but he hasn't played much with the Bears. He didn't play in preseason. I don't know how much of the first game he played in. He didn't play the second game, so he didn't practice at all this week, although I don't know about today. So I saw injuries for Wednesday and Thursday, and because I'm in Vegas, I don't always get the updates until later, and I'm doing my show a little early today. So the Nate Davis did not practice, but I don't know. I hope he's in the game because God knows we need him. That line has got to come together. And it didn't help that Braxton Jones was put on IR, one of our best offensive linemen, because of a neck issue. That was another thing that happened this week. And so, that line has got to step up because they need to help their quarterback and their running backs. Although I believe the running backs are going to be fine. I don't know why Getsy does not call more running plays. He's got to be running the ball more. You've got 2 really good running backs in Herbert and Johnson, and the rookie Johnson, and these guys can run, so run the ball. That'll take the pressure off of Justin Fields. Although we are playing a tough defense this week in Kansas City, and we are in Kansas City, but come on now. The play call by Getsy's are just horrible. Those 3 screens in a row. Hello, and the one that was returned for the touchdown last week on the 3-yard line. Tampa Bay said they knew it was coming. They said they knew it was coming. So what the hell is that all about, okay? Now, so this team is really in disarray. So let's talk about what else happened. Okay, so Justin opened his big mouth, said pretty much the truth, and then 3 hours later summons the media back to the locker room and walked it all back. Now, whether it was players, coaches, probably both got in his face and said, you can't do that, man. You just can't do it. Whether it's true or not, you can't say that stuff. So he walked it all back, and he said it was taken out of context. I saw that press conference. It was not taken out of context. I don't think it was. Oh, David Hall is right. Chicago is kind of like New York when it comes to the press, man. They're loud, and they want winners, and they're going to call you out if they don't get it. Okay? That is the truth. So, it's frustrating. But he did walk it back, but too late, Justin. Already out there. Okay, so we know what happened with Justin. Let's hope that, now they're acting like they're all in love, blah, 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 blah. Then, not even an hour later, we find out that Alan Williams, our defensive coordinator, resigned to personal reasons. He didn't play, he wasn't there in game 2. He's done for the season. Why? We don't really know. He said it was to take care of his health. There was all those rumors going around, and I'm really mad at myself because I started buying into some of those rumors, and I'm better than that. I don't usually buy into rumors, but I did, and I felt bad about it later, but I'd really like to know, is it his health? What's going on there? So now we lose our defensive coordinator. You're going into game 3, no defensive coordinator. Of course, Coach Flus was a defensive coordinator before he came to be a head coach, but he's the head coach. So what are the Bears going to do? Is Flus going to be calling the rest of the plays the rest of the season? I don't know. So now you've got your offense is all over the place. Your quarterback is all over the place. Now your defense doesn't even have their leader there anymore. So, and then polls came out on yesterday, and said nobody's panicking. The Bears aren't panicking. The players aren't panicking. High up, the staff isn't panicking. Sure they aren't. Right. Of course they're panicking. What the fuck? It's a mess. The Chicago Bears are a mess. And it's only week 3. And what's going to suck, too, is during the first half of this game, probably the first quarter, that's all the announcers are going to talk about, people. So be ready, is all the bullshit that's gone on. So we had Justin Fields call out the coaches for bad plays. And there's been other players, DJ Moore has been heard to say that they're not using him properly. Jalen Johnson, JJ, number 33 on the defense, backfield, he says that things are not good with the defense, and things have to be better. They've said that out loud. You had your defensive coordinator resign, and you would put one of your best offensive linemen on IR for a month at least. And then this just came out. The Chicago Bears up at Soldier Field, somebody broke in there and stole $100,000 worth of equipment. Yeah, like lawnmowers and all this stuff they stole. Can you believe it? I mean, what is going on? I mean, seriously. It's just, I don't know. There was a time that that football players wanted to come to Chicago. That was one of their first places back in the day. Yeah, when we were a really good organization, even when we weren't winning, but we still had a good organization, and people wanted to play for us. Not anymore. Look at this. This is a clusterfuck. What is going on? Okay, so you've got we're hoping Nate Davis will be back, like we said. Injuries on Wednesdays and Thursday. There was the two significant ones. Well, Eddie Jackson, our number 4, not number 4. Oh yeah, I think Eddie is 4. He's our backfield guy. Kind of he's been out there. He's been on our team several years, so he's a seasoned guy. He hurt his foot. He did not practice either day, Wednesday or Thursday. I don't know about today. Again, I haven't heard it, and nor did Nate Davis. He didn't practice Wednesday or Thursday, but that's more personal. I think they're probably just slowly putting him back in, but God, we need him. We really, really need him in there. So you got these injuries, not major injuries. Everybody else pretty much practiced. Again, if something changes today, I apologize. I don't have that information yet. So, so all these things that have happened with the Bears, again, it's just been a terrible, terrible week. And what can the Bears say? What can the coaches and owners say? But, we're fine. We're not worried. Well, of course they are. They have to, I don't know. I feel that there could be a very short leash here. Maybe George McCaskey. George, I'd like to think you watch my show, but you probably don't. Although George McCaskey and I are pretty tight. I do have his phone number, and I have gotten 3 letters. If you see them on top here, there's 3 handwritten letters I've received from him after I've written him handwritten letters. Not they're not sent through the email. I sent them through the actual mail, and he sent them back handwritten. And so, George, I don't know what's going on, but you got to figure this out. You know what I mean? And the thing is, so for Sunday's game, the Bears players, coaches, and fans have to block out all the noise and just play football. And what we need to see on that field Sunday is a complete team. And these players have to be playing 110% to show the world that we are the Chicago Bears. That's right. We are the Chicago Bears, and we have to hold our heads up high, just like our fans do. We are so damn loyal, and we need to see it. I watched that 49ers Giants game last night. The 49ers now, there's a good organization. You saw these guys. There was Samuel, their wide receiver. There was one time where guys were hanging on to him, and he's still running for another 15 yards. Their tight end. He did the same thing. He is running, guys are hanging on him. You don't see that with the Bears. They catch the ball, they usually go down unless it's wide open and they can run. You've got to run through the other team on offense. And I want to see that. I've been a fan of the Bears for 48 years. And these last few years have really disappointed me. And it's really making me sad. I'm not long for this earth. I'm 65. I want to see a Super Bowl win with my son and my grandson. Actually, my two grandsons. I'm going to have another one I'm not. They are in February. So I'll have two grandboys. Then I'm going to teach them all about Bears football, but not right now because I'm not proud. I'm not proud of them. And even when we've had seasons where we haven't had winning seasons, but they were playing good and they were in the games, I'm proud of them, but not the way it's been. And this has just got to stop. It just does. We have got to see this organization. It's a shame. It really is. The organization has problems from the top to the bottom, and I thought it was going to change when we brought Poles and Flus on. And now our president, we have a real guy. Phillips was basically he was an accountant and he was our president for all those years. Now we have a Warren who came from the Big Ten, and he's a football guy. You know what? I'm hoping him and George McCaskey get together and say, okay, we were in trouble here. And you got to do something. I don't know what's going to happen, but you got to talk to these guys and really get them to play the game. To want to play the game for the Chicago Bears and win. These guys need to learn how to win again, like I told you. I've been telling you for the last couple games, shows. And I don't know, it's just so frustrating. And I know you're all feeling the same way. I mean, there are fans, this is cool, I read this. There are fans in England. So in Manchester, England, this is the second year in a row that the Bears organized a watch party. It was hosted by the International Watch Party, and it was last Sunday's game, unfortunately, in Manchester, England, in a bar, and there were so many people there, and they're in England and they love the Bears. Is that cool? And then there's this really cool story. My buddy Dan and I do a podcast, as I've mentioned, on Wednesday nights. It starts at 6 o'clock Eastern, 5 o'clock Central, and 3 o'clock West my time, and we do it live, and it's called Bears Country Podcast, The Download with Lynn. And last year, Dan started a GoFundMe page for one of his watchers. Now, Dan does a bunch of different podcasts besides the one him and I do. He does 3 other podcasts. And he met a guy from England, and his name is Chris Watts, and he watches my shows. And he watches a lot of Dan's shows, and he also watches the one that Dan and I do. So, and he loves the Bears. He's been in love with the Bears since the 80s, and he lives in England. Never been to America. Never been to a Bears game, obviously. So and he's a huge fan. So what Dan did was he started that GoFundMe page last year to raise enough money to get Chris Watt to Chicago and to a Bears game. And we all pitched in, a bunch of us, and then all through the year last year, they did it. And this year, they got enough that Chris is flying to Chicago. It's going to be the Vikings game in October, the middle of October, and he's going to go to a Chicago Bears game, courtesy of Bears fans. Really, and people who just love football. How cool is that we're bringing somebody over from England who is a Bears fan? Now, we got to show this guy a really good game. And he's going to have fun at Soldier Field, I know that, but let's show him a good game. I know he watches at home in England, but let's show him the Bears organization can pull their shit together. But it is cool that they're bringing him here. And there'll be more to tell about this story later. So I just wanted to put that in there. But so you guys, it's just been a really bad week. It's one of the worst weeks I've ever seen the Chicago Bears go through. one thing on top of another. I mean, and I've been around a long time watching them, as I said, and 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 this has just been bad. I mean, it's just like they don't. It doesn't seem like they have any control what's going on and this and that and these, we've got talented players, we've got talent here. Why aren't we seeing it? And it's just a lack of, there's a lack of discipline, there's a lack of paying attention to what's going on, having your head in at 110%. We got to turn this around, and I got to tell you, if the Bears could pull out a win against Kansas City on Sunday, that would go, excuse me, that would go for a long way. You know what I'm saying? A really long way. So, Bears fans, block out the noise, forget about it, concentrate on playing and watching football, Bears and Bears fans, and let's just be it's hard to say be proud of our team. Let's just back our team up. They need people backing them up. It's probably good it's not at home because they can't hear booing right now. That's the last thing the Chicago Bears players need is booing. They need us, whether we want to or not. We need to support them on everything right now. They need to know we've got their backs, right? And they need to know that the coaches have their backs and the organization has their backs. And that I'm not sure they believe. So we as fans have to start doing it ourselves, because who else is going to do it, okay? So come on now. Let's go. All right, so what we need to do? We've talked about it. You got to win the threes. Smart, error-free football. Our O-line and our D-line, too important. Those two lines have to have one hell of a game. And if they do, I think we can win this game. And you know what? I say let Justin Fields be Justin Fields. You know what? I really don't think he's going to be a pocket passer, so just let him do what he's going to do the rest of this year and see. See, maybe if you call some decent plays, Getsy, because you don't get it, Getsy. Maybe if you call plays to his strengths, you might see some first downs and stop. And that's one other thing, Justin Fields. Stop fumbling the ball. You fumbled it twice last week, but did not lose it. Now you have given up 21 points in touchdowns off of interceptions. That's got to stop too. So it might help if Getsy don't get it, calls better plays, and lets Justin be Justin. Let's see what happens, because the first 2 weeks, obviously what you guys want to do is not working. So why don't we see what we all want to do and Justin wants to do, and let's see what happens. Oh, why not? Can it hurt at this point? No. Okay, that's it. I'm going to stop ranting. And so, Bears, remember, fans, we got to have their backs, okay? And I want to thank you all for watching. I appreciate you watching me, turning me on. I was going to tell a story, really cool story, but I'm going to move it to Monday because of all the stuff that happened this week. It's about Badgett. And I will do that on Monday. So people out there waiting for it. I know there are people. I will do it. It's just a matter of I just ran out of time because of all the crap that happened this week. Okay, so let's go get a win in Kansas City, and then we'll be 1-2. We need a win more than anything right now. I mean, seriously, I'm not sure how much more the players could handle. Okay, so again, thank you for watching. You know, I always appreciate you guys out there. It just warms my heart that people actually listen to me, which is pretty funny. But I love the Bears. I love talking about the Bears, and I'm never going to give up on them because that's just, I've been a fan for 48 years, and I'm not going to give up now. But I'm sad. And as always, I like to end my show with be kind to one another. Stop hate. Let's join together and love one another. This is tough times in this country and around the world, and we just need to stand together. We can't be on each other. We've got to come together. You know, smile at people when you're out and about. Help people out if they need it. Just be kind. Because if you're kind, people will be kind back to you, and it feels good. It feels good to smile. Try to be positive. Because you know what? Being positive is much better than being negative. Like smiling is better than frowning. Here, look at all that. So I love you guys. Um, let's bring home a win. I want to be able to sing that victory song on Monday to you guys. As bad as that song is, I will sing it if we get a win. I know. And I just know you guys want to hear it because who doesn't want to hear Lynn sing? And have I told you it's season 4 of Let's Talk Chicago Bears? It is. I know, right? But I'm only here because you guys watch me, so thank you. Go Bears! And as always, keep on rocking and rolling from Vegas, baby! Oh, bye-bye!